Hi there. Thanks again for tuning in. We're going to get started. My name is Joey Colvin, Content Marketing Manager at mParticle. And on behalf of the team, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in to Know Your Audience's Powering at Marketing and Product Initiatives with mParticle's Audience Suite. We have some great topics to discuss today, so we're really excited to dive into everything. Speaking, we'll have Ben Hoxie, Director of Product Management, Shabi Syed, Head of Product Marketing, and Kale Bogdanovs, Product Marketing Manager. Ben has been at mParticle for 2.5 years and leads product development for our audiences and privacy features. Shabi joined mParticle in June 2019 and was previously a senior member of the product marketing team at Redis Labs. Kale has been at mParticle for 3 years, first as a technical writer before moving into the product marketing manager role in September of 2019. Without further ado, Shabi, I'll let you take the lead.
Thank you so much, Joey. Hi, everyone. Before we dig into the topic at hand, just to give a quick overview for those of you who are joining us for the first time and don't know enough about mParticle. mParticle is a customer data platform that was founded back in 2013. We have some of the marquee customers that have taken the ride with us to really get an understanding of their customer data, including Burger King, NBC, Viacom, and Wenbo. We have been consistently ranked as one of the top places to work here in New York City, and we have offices spread globally within the US and also in Europe. Now, the mParticle journey for every customer really starts with having the need for understanding their customer data across all the digital properties they have to be able to bring that data in a consolidated and a standardized way and pushing it out into places for driving personalization or just getting better engagement with their users. So in this diagram, what you see is basically bringing in data with using mParticle's SDK, which gets you started with having that data consumed automatically, to building your own data infrastructure to be fed into mParticle, whether it's historical data or whatnot, but essentially bringing that customer data collectively into mParticle and building that holistic user profile and being able to then forward events and attributes for those users down to your analytics or attribution tools on the left, or building audience cohorts in real time to be able to engage with users on social platforms or sending out emails or push notifications. And then all of this is essentially done by having an identity capability that's best in class that is able to get you that single user profile using the enhancements that we have made over the course of the years in making sure that our identity graph is one of the best available in the market. So all in all, we're trusted by some of the best brands that cut across media, retail, financial services, QSRs, that really have taken the journey to start building engagement with their users. And some of them are some of the marquee brands that are known for the best-in-class customer experience that customers really are looking forward to. So we know that 80% of custom consumers are more likely to make a purchase when brands are offering personalized experiences. So it's really around that consumers expect that brands are going to engage them at a personal level where they understand their needs or purchase habits or user behaviors that are taking place when they engage with them in their digital properties or at the brick and mortar store. But what comes down to is that 88% of the top 25 brands that do provide that personal recommendation really are the ones that are shining in the market, which are the best in class in terms of delivering the experience. So think about companies like Sephora or Nordstrom or Rent the Runway or Ulta Beauty, some of them who are our customers, that how they're really shining with the experiences that they're delivering to their consumer base, who are happy to go shop there or happy to engage with the brands and rank them consistently as one of the top brands that are the favorites for them. So while consumers are expecting a personalized experience wherever they engage with a brand, most organizations just can't deliver that across all channels. And by all channels are essentially all the different places that consumers are engaging with that brand, whether it's on the website or it's on the mobile app or it's on the social media, or whether they're calling in for help or within the physical stores that you have, or the email push notifications or emails for coupons or loyalty programs that are going out to them. So gathering all that information into a way to really make sense out of it, to be able to deliver engaged and personalized experiences is what CDPs or customer data platforms are really in there to help you with. And it all starts with having an identity resolution that's foundational to every use case. So at mParticle, the way we think about from left to right is that we help you collect your customer data from all across your digital properties or your backend systems, bring it in and have identity syncing or resolution or management in place to basically build out those unified profiles that you care about as a brand to really know your customers. And once you have that programmatically in place, being able to connect that within a real-time intelligent customer data pipeline to activate all sorts of product experiences or email, personalized emails or analytics that would help you understand your customers in a much better way. So it all starts with, at mParticle within the platform, with us understanding across the board what type of identity type is being received, and then being able to do lookup matches within the platform to basically scale out that what do we know about this user and within our graph. How can we keep on going back and tying this with a user that's known and being able to return you that single profile? And if we don't know that information across logged in and anonymous behaviors, we automatically try to match that and build that cohesive profile for you. So think about one of our customers, AccuWeather, that tries to trigger contextual audiences using the weather data that they have available. So providing that outstanding customer experience where it's tailored to the needs of an individual user really starts with knowing the users at the intimate level for knowing what type of their behavior preferences, where they're located, what type of information that they would care about in terms of the weather data that needs to be provided to them to drive their decisions for a daily, whether they're going to take an umbrella or not when they get out of work. But down to influencing those user behaviors really starts with making sure that the AccuWeather website or app is able to collect the information that the users are providing to be able to create those tailored experiences. The second big thing within identity is also the idea of how the data is essentially strategized and controlled within mParticle. So in mParticle, we offer our customers essentially an account, which is the high level, organization, which is the high level umbrella that how we basically give any brand the ability to say, this is Walmart or this is Starbucks. And then within the organization, you have account level tiering, which lets you further split in terms of how you want that data to be siloed. And then workspaces are those unified siloed places where you can control how information is going to be shared even within the brand. So as you think about multi-brand organizations or conglomerates, this really gives them the flexibility to really have that one single platform, but divided up data in a way that makes it more meaningful. So think about one of the customers that we have, Via, where they go into multiple different markets as they're growing in scale across the globe. And when they want to go into those markets, they want to be very prescriptive about how they're going to target their users within that particular market. Even though that's, they may have some evergreen marketing campaigns that cut across globally, but they would also have a large number of local engagements that they need to build or learn their users without mixing up data from other places. So this kind of hierarchy of organization, accounts, and workspaces really helps to kind of get them into a place where they have individual user information in the context that they would like to have to build correct audiences or segments to be able to target them with the downstream tools that they have in their MarTech or analytic engines to better understand the customers across the board. So with that, I'll hand it over to Ben, who will speak over some of our audience capabilities.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Shabby. Before we dive into the detailed capabilities of the Audience Builder, I want to give you a sense of sort of its high-level capabilities. What we have here is a chart of the customer journey on the top and how mParticle functions and collects data to build audiences around them. And the real interesting thing here is that it can support marketing and targeting towards the user throughout the customer's lifecycle. So as soon as a customer enters a website in this case, or an app, we can begin to target them with audience tools we'll see in just a second. And then you can continue to evolve how we treat them from a segmentation standpoint as they engage more and more with both advertising and with your app by using events and activity and what we know about the user to improve the personalization and the segmentation. The really high-level block diagram for audiences is similar to what Chevy mentioned earlier for mParticle as a CDP, but really focused on segmentation. So you'll see we ingest all of the customer data from across all apps, including things like OTT and IoT devices. Really, we want to collect data anywhere that the customer is interacting with your brand. As Chevy mentioned, we connect all of those discrete events and customer information to one logical profile for each customer. We have controls in place in the platform to manage and direct and filter which data goes where. And then Audience Sync is this feature that we're going to talk about a lot more in just a second that lets you define these segments using all the data you collected, and then finally push that segmentation to all different kinds of tools. We have 60+ audience integrations across marketing, engagement, analytics, et cetera. We have two discrete audience products at mParticle. We have real-time audiences and lifetime audiences. We're definitely going to go into more in just a second, but there are some fundamental distinctions. Real-time audiences are always on, and they update membership every time we get more information about a person. They are really geared towards using the last most recent activity. So they can only look back, usually it's 30 days, it's customizable by client, but for most clients it's 30 days. And this is really great for example, for removing a user from a paid campaign once they've converted in real time to save you money. You don't have to keep marketing to them. Or to use a win-back campaign if you find that somebody had something in their cart 2 days ago and you want to do a push notification to get them back to close the deal. The other type of audiences is lifetime audiences, and the idea behind this is to let you activate all of your data going back as far as you've given it to us. For most clients, that's around 2 years of data, but we can change that retention policy. So whereas real-time audiences updates in real time and focuses on the last engagement, usually 30 days, lifetime is defined as needed as a one-off calculation and can go back basically forever. And the use case for this one really is for activating users across businesses that have either periodic engagement. So think about something like travel, where people don't take a trip, every month. That would be nice, but I think it's more like once or twice a year. Or concerts, people aren't constantly in a ticketing app to buy new tickets. Most people aren't. Or if you're launching seasonal promotions and you want to target people who were active last season, or you're launching a new product or a new feature or a new show in a media vertical, and you can pull back the people who were interested in something similar from years ago. Kale's going to show you a walkthrough of the audience features, but I want to give you a quick shot of the discrete functionality that's in the tool and to give you a sense of how powerful it is really. So first, the audience builder, Kale will show you, lets you define your own criteria using a point and click, really easy interface that's incredibly powerful so that you can remix all of the data that we just talked about. So you can remix everything across any of your apps or properties, including all events. So you can combine a page view event with a purchase event, with a refund event, with a session start event. You can really remix anything that you want across events and user attributes. So you can segment people by saying, well, I've reported that this person is in this state, in the United States, or in this country, and I want to segment them that way. You can look at prior events, so people have done a thing, say a purchase event within the last week, or you can do a future event to say, this person made a travel reservation for next week. Let's target people who have upcoming reservations. While the interface is really easy, it has some powerful features that let you combine and define the logic using real simple Boolean logic of and or to make sure that the audience logic is calculating the way you want. You can exclude members, so to make sure that you're not marketing to people who are already buying all the time, or make sure you're not over marketing to people who have received a lot of messages. You can even recombine and nest your audiences together to say, I'm going to build one audience of of recent shoppers, and I'm going to build another audience for this independent promotion. And I'm going to combine them and say, don't market to the people who are in the recent shoppers audience. We have this cool estimator feature that lets you see the audience size as you build, both for the entire audience and for each criteria. So if you have something in mind of, I want to reach 100,000 people, excuse me, you can see how close you are and which criteria is whittling down your population. And along those same lines, as you're building it, you can easily QA an audience by spot checking members. So we have the profile that we've been talking about. This lets you take a sneak peek at the profile to make sure these are the right kinds of people, to decide if you want to add some more criteria to filter them out or broaden the criteria to add more people. We have A/B testing functionality. So once you have an audience defined, you can split the membership to be distributed according to sort of whatever split you want to downstream systems. We have a ton of audience integrations across engagement, email, advertising types of integration. So you don't really have to worry about, is this supported, is this not? We have a ton of them. I can't say all of them because we don't have all, but we have a lot. It's more than likely we'll have the ones you want. Finally, we have some audience sharing capabilities. So if you're a big enterprise, you can control how an audience is shared within your organization across brands or across business units. And say this is visible, but you can't connect it, or this one can be connected. We can even let you share across organizations. So if you want to do an audience swap with another one of our clients, we can facilitate that. And then finally, we can let you download a live copy of the audience, which is especially interesting for real-time audiences, either to use in another system, to use downstream, or just to verify membership or size. I'm going to pass it now to Kale to walk you through some demos and some use cases.
G'day guys, how you doing? I'm just going to walk you through a few quick use cases now, basically to show you, we've sort of seen some of the power of specifically the Audience Builder tool. These use cases will sort of show you how using mParticle to do your segmentation is good because, one, because of the data that we can make available to you in the Audience Builder itself, and two, because of how we're able to federate those audiences to our downstream partners. So let's go through. This is a quick use case around maximizing the efficiency of the advertising and messaging partners you use. So the idea here is to improve the acquisition return on investment by testing different segments of a particular audience or different variants across different channels. So mParticle actually allows you to take an audience that you've identified and split it up into arbitrary parts. So in the case of this diagram here, we've split an audience that we've identified as people we want to target for acquisition into 4 distinct parts. Part 1 is our control part, who we won't target with anything. And these other 3 parts we're going to send to paid web advertising, to an email campaign, and to a push campaign. And we'll be able to compare what the ROI is for each of these segments of the audience. So this is just a great way to test your different channels on audiences that all meet the same criteria, and really determine what are your prime channels, where are your wasted spend, and for future campaigns, where should you be targeting your resources. So this is a really great, it's a really great use case for like a custom federation of an audience. Other use cases are around what data that we can make available to you. mParticle is very API driven. We can send data out to wherever it needs to go, and we can also get insights based on that data back via the same APIs. So here, and this is a use case very common for our customers, we'll collect event data from across many different platforms, from web apps, from server backends, from mobile apps. We put them all together using identity resolution into user profiles. We forward those events out to a data partner like Snowflake. The Snowflake database will feed a Spark machine learning algorithm, and the machine learning algorithm will calculate user attributes like churn risk scores and propensity scores, and those scores get fed back into mParticle, where they can be used to build audiences. So this is another really great way that you can get really like hyper-personalized data into your audiences, You can target audiences that your ML, your machine learning algorithm has identified to be a churn risk. You can target them with a win-back campaign. So things like that. So that's just one example of how we can get data in from all sorts of places and also make learnings and insights based on that data and activate them through the audience builder. And this third one, really quickly, this is kind of a very similar kind of thing, but in a different way. In this example, we are supplementing real-time collection of commerce transactions with enriched data about the products that users are buying that comes from a product catalog that the client uploads to Airtable. So that just means that all of the information that you have about your catalog doesn't have to be kept on the client side to be able to activate it. Based on a product ID or a SKU, we can enrich that purchase data coming in with category information, nutritional information, what kind of things are going on. And that really, again, allows you to have all kinds of extra data available when you're building an audience segment. So that's just another way you can get really rich data into mParticle and use the audience builder to act on it. So I'm going to show you a couple of quick demos to show you like a few very simple use cases actually working in the platform. So I'm just going to stop presenting here. So for my first use case, I'm going to show you a very, very basic remarketing audience. I'm imagining I'm a marketer for my brand of sneakers, Sportwell sneakers. Do you do sports? Sport better with Sportwell sneakers. So here is what the audience builder actually looks like. And as you can see, it's easy for me to identify. Here I can see all of the events that I've been sending into this mParticle workspace. So what I've actually defined here is I'm looking for users that have generated this view sneaker event where the brand matches Sportwell. And I'm looking for users that have more than 3 of these events within the last 7 days. So basically, we're talking about users who have shown a sustained level of interest in this particular brand. But my second category says, but not people who have actually purchased a sneaker of my brand, Sportwell. So the flow for this audience is if a user generates those view events, once they generate their 4th view event, they're going to become a member of this audience, and I'm going to forward this audience downstream to email marketing tools, to internet advertising tools, and to social media walled gardens. So I'm connecting this same audience to 6 different places. So as soon as they qualify for the audience, I start targeting them. But just as importantly, as soon as the user converts, I drop them out of the audience. And that disqualification from the audience is also federated to any partner I'm sending this audience to. And that's really helpful for controlling your spend. So instead of having to try and manage that conversion information in half a dozen downstream partners, you can manage it in one place here. And I'll just show you in MailChimp because they let you actually see audiences. I've only got 3 people in here, but you can see this guy here. He was once a part of the audience because he has viewed the sneaker 4 or more times, but he's also had a purchase event, and you can see he's actually been unsubscribed by mParticle. So any future campaigns that I'm running through MailChimp here, he's not going to be a part of. And the same will be true of Facebook targeted ads, promoted tweets, of ads purchased through Google Ads. So we're only going to be targeting that segment of users that haven't yet met the criteria that you're after. It's a really simple one, but it just shows the value that you can get from managing your messaging through mParticle. But you can actually do more with an audience than just message. So we forward audiences to all kinds of downstream partners, but more than that, we also make audience memberships available through our mParticle Profile API. The Profile API allows you to query for information about a user by their mParticle identity or by a database identity that you have for them. And that means that you can use your audience builder, not just to do messaging, but to actually change how a user experiences your app. So A simple example of why you might want to do that is to drive something like a next best action or next best offer widget. These are very common in the financial industry and also retail. The idea is to try and work out what the next ideal action for your user is to take so that you can gradually build deeper engagement with your product. And as a quick example here, I have this little financial app for the Bedford Falls Savings and Loan Bank. And on the right here, I have this little widget, which is a next best action or next best offer. So I want to target my users as they log into the app. I want to give them the specific offer that's best suited to increase their level of engagement with the bank and with this app. And I can drive that through audiences too. So as an example, here's a slightly more complex audience definition than my last one. And this is my next best offer home loan audience. So here I'm actually stringing together 4 different conditions. So I want to have a user who has already opened a credit card account with the bank, a user who's already opened a savings account with the bank. I'm checking the user's user attributes that I'm set, and I want to see that they have a credit limit that is more than $25,000. And I also want to know that they haven't missed any payments within the last, now I've set this to 10 days because this is my little test account and that's as far back as I can go. But it obviously in the real world, you would be able to go back however far you wanted for this. So I can use these and deliver them via the Profile API to change my audiences, to change my users' experience in the app. And I'll just show you very quickly like what that looks like in code. I've abstracted just the little snippet that I use to make this personalization service. I've created an API that I can call from my React front end. And that tells me, I provide it the mParticle ID for the user. And I say, give me the next best offer for this user. And this service gets the profile for the user. And we run through and see what audiences the user is a part of. And from there, we work through our next best offers from most to least engaged. So if this user is a member of the home loan audience I just showed, we're going to show them that offer. If they're not, we're going to show them, and they are a member of the credit increase offer, we'll show them that. If not, we'll look to see if they're a member of the credit card offer, and then we'll fall back to this last savings account offer. So to see that working, if we go back to this app here, you can see that I'm currently targeting this user with my open a savings account offer. I'm just going to force the mParticle ID to change back in here. And I'm going to refresh the page. And you see that with a different MPID, we have different audience memberships, and I'm now spitting back a different one to say now you could be eligible for a Visa card. Buy items now, pay for them later. What could possibly go wrong? If this person's been using this app for a little bit longer, we might want to target them with an offer for a credit increase. So if I'll change the mParticle ID again, and we see we have, again, a different call to action here. So this is all driven in the background by a really simple implementation with mParticle.
Well, thanks again for tuning in, and we hope to be in touch soon.
Cheers, guys.